What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 29. We are back to talk about the NFL playoffs that start this Saturday. 6 games between the AFC and the NFC, Saturday through Monday. Then we'll talk about the big news that the Twins have made over the last 2 days. Carlos Correa is back. But to join me, Lewis Crosby, Jackson Borst. Borsty, your name is Thanks Connolly. Explain that a little bit real quick.
You know what that is.
All right. Lewis, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Woke up to some fantastic news yesterday as the Twins re-signed Correa for a 6-year deal and not a 10-year deal, which was originally proposed, but we'll get into that later. But what's more exciting is the Vikings playoff game this weekend. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And just the rest of the NFL slate should be also fantastic to watch.
I agree.
Fantastic to watch. The Bills and the Dolphins is terrible.
It's NFL playoffs. It'll be exciting.
I wish it was a better game, but it's not.
But yeah,
wild card weekend is always exciting just because there's 6 games, meaningful games. This year it does feel like there's like 3 games that are just going to be blowouts, like the Niners and the Seahawks, the Bills, Dolphins. What was the other one? Well, I'll pull this up. What's the other one? The Bengals and the Ravens.
Yeah.
There's the Bengals Ravens. Lamar is probably not going to play in that game. The other day I was talking to my brother on here, and I was saying if Lamar plays, I think that's my sleeper team. I think the Ravens are being slept on, but Lamar's not playing, so that's not a thing. But let's go game by game, give our thoughts on each game. The first game is the Niners and the Seahawks. I'll go quick. This game is going to be a blowout in my mind. I think the Seahawks aren't necessarily a playoff team. They back themselves in. Geno Smith has had a good year. For the expectations given to this team, I'm not sure what their over-under was, but it couldn't have been very high. Pete Carroll,
I think it was like 5.
Yeah, I mean they've definitely done better than what they were supposed to do. A lot of it is Geno Smith. I mean, he's been very, very good, but nonetheless, they're playing the Niners, and the Niners are just a complete team and a juggernaut, even though they have Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback. Your guys' thoughts on this game?
Well, what's interesting is I think we found out this year that Pete Carroll is a much better coach than everyone gives him credit for.
Yeah.
And he was almost like a joke and laugh, like not a joke, but just discredited for Russ, and he wasn't using Russ right. And it turns out he was using Russ to about the max ability that he possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting him and Geno against Brock Purdy and the rest of the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan's offense, which is the best offense in the league. Scheme-wise, not talent-wise, but scheme-wise for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they can just run the ball down your throat, and then Brock Purdy can take shots. And you know who's been active since Brock Purdy's been quarterback? Is George Kittle. And George Kittle has had averaging, I think, over a touchdown since a week since Brock has taken the quarterback position, and that's much, much more than he's had when Jimmy G has been the quarterback. I'm not saying Jimmy G's bad, but I'm just saying Brock Purdy's kind of unlocked even another weapon in that offense.
It's been George Kittle's gotten better. Deebo Samuel's gotten worse.
Yeah, that's true. But I agree with you that this won't even be a
It might be like a dirty, close game, but never in doubt.
I think Bosa will easily have his way with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks defense are fraudulent and they are not good.
Yeah. Borsty, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, although it was great to see the Packers lose on Sunday night, I kind of wish that they were playing the 49ers. It's a divisional game.
Or even the Lions. Like, I wish the Lions were playing them.
Yeah, I guess anyone but the Seahawks. It's a divisional game. Anything can happen, but I just don't see it.
I was in the same boat. I really was having fun watching the Packers lose on Sunday night, but in the back of my mind, I wanted there to be a chance that the 49ers lost this week, and it's just not going to happen.
Because, let's be honest. If we should take care of business this weekend against the Giants, not looking ahead of that. But our building is a hard place to play, and you have a rookie quarterback who's potentially playing his second playoff game. They're coming in here. That is such a big swing versus us going out there and probably going to lose because it's a hard place to play. It's just, it sucks.
I don't even think the Levi's Stadium's that hard of a place to play. It's just, I don't know.
They're so good.
They're just a good team. Yeah.
What's the ceiling for Brock Purdy's career? Like, do you think he has like multiple Super Bowls?
Oh
like,
my God. No. He's not even going to start next year.
You don't think he's going to start next year?
No.
Well, I think it does depend on how far they go in this playoffs. If they somehow lose this first game, he's done. I think, because then Trey Lance will be back.
Well, you're forgetting that the NFL is a quarterback issue right now, and about 8 teams this offseason will be looking for a new starting quarterback. So I think any one of those teams would jump on.
I think a lot of people know that if Brock Purdy was the quarterback of the, I don't know, Seahawks, for example, he would be not near as good.
Well, yes, but I just think you put some good film on in the NFL, people see that and will give you a shot.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got one more shot, but my guess is he would fail in that shot, and then he's just going to be a backup.
But still, like, I think that the Seahawks or the 49ers, are a better team than the Eagles right now, and they're my favorites to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
The 49ers?
The 49ers.
Yeah. Well, I think the 49ers, I'd agree. I think they're the favorites in the NFC.
And if he makes it to a Super Bowl, you can't not bring him back next year.
Mm-hmm.
But this is getting ahead of ourselves anyway.
Yeah, but is Shanahan like the best coach in the league? Like, can we have that conversation? Like,
no, because he always chokes in fourth quarter situations.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this guy doesn't need anyone for a quarterback. He could just put in like a dead body at quarterback. He'll still get, he'll still win playoff games. It's ridiculous.
Listen, this is a bad comparison, but it reminds me of the PJ Fleck run Gophers in a way, in that they are great in front. If they ever find themselves behind late in the game, they're not built for that at all.
So we got to get up.
So if you're winning in the playoffs in a pressure-packed situation, I don't have faith in Brock Purdy coming back. And I don't think 49ers fans do too, but they've been in front in nearly every game, and they just coast to wins, and their defense takes over. The second game is the Chargers and the Jaguars. This is a toss-up to me. I think
also, sorry to interrupt, this is
go ahead.
Arguably the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, probably the most competitive. A lot of people would probably think the Vikings Giants would also be very competitive.
Yeah,
but
maybe Cowboys Bucs, but I think this one's sleeper.
So you don't think the Vikings Giants is going to be a competitive game? Who's blowing who out?
Close games if they're going to win the game.
Who's blowing who out? If it's not competitive,
we're blowing them out.
Okay.
This is a good game, though. This is a really good game.
It is, and I still don't know who's going to win. It's in Jacksonville. I think the Chargers, if healthy, if Mike Williams plays, which I think he's going to play, I think the Chargers are more talented, but the Jags are at home. So that's what makes this a toss-up. The Chargers defense, the beginning of the year, would just get torn up on the ground. They've been much improved in that area. But I'd lean Jacksonville just because they're at home.
The problem is Duval, like, that might be I know they're home, but it, like, probably considered one of the worst home field advantages in the NFL.
It was sort of rocking on Saturday night.
It was sort of rocking, but, like, if I had to play an away game anywhere in the NFL, like, they'd be probably close to the top of the list.
Well, good point, Lewis. And let's not forget, every Chargers home game is like an away game.
Yeah, they're at the actual top of the list.
Yeah.
Any SoFi Stadium game is not a home game.
Yeah, this is like a battle of like the two worst fan bases in the NFL, probably.
Actually, the Jags never should have left San Diego.
That's unfair.
They never should have left San Diego.
Jags have some decent fans, but
the Jags have some hungry fans right now. I think the fans are yearning for this opportunity.
All 15 of the Chargers fans might get mad at that comment.
If they're in San Diego, they'd have more fans.
But who do you guys have winning in this game?
Chargers.
I also have the Chargers. I think that Justin Herbert, it's time for him to shut up all the haters and say that
he doesn't have any haters. But
yes, he does. Yes, he does. Because he had so many people that loved him so much that now it's turned. People like analyst Max Borst hates his guts.
Everyone is still obsessed with Herbert, dude.
Yeah, and Herbert's just good. It's Brandon Staley that's the one that's holding them back.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, Staley's going to lose this game for them somehow in the fourth quarter. I can picture it.
Which is a fair point to bring up.
He's going to go for it on his own 45 on 4th and 5 in just a boneheaded decision.
Yeah, but Doug Peterson does that once a game too. He'll like try to do a Philly special like in the second quarter, like double reverse something. And I guarantee you that will happen this game is they will try.
Which coach f's it up more?
What?
Staley.
Yeah. It's which coach f's it up more. That's
Why
Staley was but like also that game last weekend between the Titans and and the Jags, like the Jags probably shouldn't have won that game.
No,
except for that strip sack.
I will say, in the Jags' defense, the Titans have one of the best run defenses in the league. The Chargers are much worse.
Yes, I am excited to see this 2-quarterback matchup. Trevor Lawrence will be exciting to see in the playoffs. I'm glad that he's there.
With Herbert,
I just like watching.
Herbert will be fun to watch.
Yeah, true.
All right, so I have the Jags in a slim margin. You guys have the Chargers. I got
the Chargers covering the alternate line at -6.5.
All right, interesting.
Sunday.
I'll take the Chargers by 4.
Okay. Dolphins, Bills. We don't have to talk much about this game. It's going to be Skylar Thompson probably.
There's no point in even talking about
this. This is going to be a bloodbath. DeMar Hamlin will probably be in the stadium, and the Bills are just going to come out firing.
It's unfortunate that Tua is not playing.
You know what's unfortunate? I think that DeMar should sit this one out, sit at home, and wait for the next game to get that bump.
I agree.
You might be onto something.
Because
it might be a waste of his presence in the stadium this weekend.
Yeah,
just say you're recovering and then come back the next week against when they play the Bengals. Probably.
Yeah, you want him at the Bengals game 100%.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Well, the line is what's the line here? It's 13.
Would you take the Bills?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's about probably right.
You know what's a sneaky bet, which is I think I like, is Gabe Davis most receiving yards in the playoffs. I think he can go for some bombs rather than Stephon Diggs. And if Stephon Diggs gets kind of blanketed more, Gabe Davis, that number 2 option, can air it out. Then you're kind of betting on the Bills to make it to at least the NFC or AFC championship.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's fair. That's another person. That's fair.
I didn't think of that, but Gabe Davis
doesn't get. I would say the only comeback is he doesn't get many catches. Like you feel like he gets like 3 a game.
Yeah, but you better hope 50 yards.
Yeah, you better hope so.
Yeah.
What about JJ?
The problem is that if the Vikings only make it to like the second round,
let's move on from the Bills game. Let's talk about the Vikings and Giants. The Vikings are 3-point favorites at home. They played the Giants a couple weeks ago. They kicked a 61-yarder. That was the 61-yarder game, right? To win. As time expired. JJ had over 100 yards. TJ had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the Vikings were able to pass all over. I was listening to the radio, and Pete Bursich was talking about whether Wink Martindale is going to play more aggressive. Because in that first game, he didn't play all that aggressive. For his standards.
I guess, he blitses the most out of any defensive coordinator.
In his standards, he didn't blitz nearly as much as he usually does until like the really very late in that game.
Well, if he was smart, he is going to blitz every single time with our offensive line and our quarterback.
The only problem is if we somehow hold up for 2.5 seconds, there's nobody to stop JJ, KJ, Adam, or TJ. Right?
Yeah, I think TJ can stop himself, actually.
The real problem for why I think this Vikings team isn't going to make a deep run in the playoffs, and Borst, dude, this has nothing to do with Dalvin Cook, but the offensive line run blocking is awful. I mean, he gets touched every single time, and if they face the Niners, he's going to have more negative yard runs than positive yard runs. It's been an issue for a while, but I'm just scared if the Vikings have to become a pass-only team. That's not going to fare very well.
Have we heard anything about Bradbury? Is he coming back? Any chance?
I'm guessing he's not going to play.
Oh,
yeah, that's the issue. And O'Neal, what does he have? Like a torn? He has calf.
He's done.
Calf
and
that's
not as big of a deal as the center position.
Well, the question is, can Blake Brandel play right tackle?
Are we just going to like run behind Darisaw every single play, basically?
No, well, he does suck, but Oli Udoh is not that bad. No, he's not. He started all last year. That's fine. It's the center position that scares me. Just getting bull rushed right through the middle.
The good thing is that they've had a little more practice, and when in that Packers game when that third string center came in. What's his name?
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily talking about that.
I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, it's like this guy has clearly been on the practice squad and just like getting coffee for the starting centers. And now
he couldn't snap the ball.
And has no idea the snap counts.
Well, we have Blake Brandel coming back as well. Where is he going to play?
He's probably not going to play unless you slide him in for Oliudo because he was filling in for Darisaw at left tackle. If you have confidence in him at right tackle, then pull Udo, but he's not.
I'm not as worried about the offense though. It's more the defense needs to just step up in these playoffs. The 31 ranked defense
like the Pack, like some of these games that they've gotten blown out, the offense has done nothing.
True.
Packers, Cowboys. The Lions game was the one game where the offense did go off, and the defense probably their worst game. But
you could argue that that they went off that the offense went off in the Giants game, and the defense kind of let them down in the Giants game because Daniel Jones does not look that good on a regular basis hitting receivers.
I agree, but it's just like the Vikings have won plenty of games where the defense sucked, but the offense did well. When the offense sucks, we have no shot.
Yeah, like the Packers game, no shot.
Correct. Cowboys game, no shot. Eagles game, no shot.
And you'll remember in week 2, the Vikings defense actually wasn't that bad. I know that was week 2, but the offense was the biggest reason is why we lost that. But who cares? It was week 2. But I think, guys, that this game comes down to one thing. Are you going to let Daniel Jones beat you on your turf? That's it. And if you do, then you know what? You don't even deserve to be there.
Yeah, I agree. If you can't beat the Giants, like it's not like we should be like, oh.
I have no expectations of getting past the second round. I'm just enjoying it. I hope they win.
Yes.
But
just enjoy the ride. And first year head coach, going well.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly. And Donatello is going to be gone next year. So
you think if McVay leaves, possibly a little reunion with
yes.
Is it Raheem Morris? Is their D coordinator?
Please. That'd be so nice.
I do think that's a possibility. I think we do need some new players. Like our linebackers suck.
Duke Shelley's been a little bit of a nice surprise, though.
Duke Shelley has been fantastic.
Yeah,
he has.
And I used to think he was like the worst football player of all time, but now,
you see the name Duke Shelley,
and
you've never heard of him coming into play on the outside corner. It's just like it doesn't sound good. But
yeah,
either way, in my opinion, if our offense doesn't do what and I do think in this game our offense will be able to move the ball at home. Mm-hmm. It's when we get on the road that's just terrifying.
You think Harrison Smith is
back? A recipe for disaster.
I think some of those guys that sat out week 18 should be okay. Like Za'Darius, I hope that 1 week did help them. Harrison Smith, I don't know who else sat on the defense, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm looking for Kendricks to have a big game. We haven't really seen a big Kendricks game yet this year, like we have in the past.
I think he's lost a step, and this scheme is not good for him because it just forces him to cover a lot more people in the passing game, and he is trash at that.
But I think that P2 will have a big game, and I could see an interception or two even from him. If the Giants get a little behind and Daniel Jones starts forcing it, that's what the Vikings got to do is just get out to a lead, and they'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They need to get out to the lead,
and they need to get if they can somehow get some pressure on the quarterback,
then Daniel Jones will make a stupid mistake.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter's it's against the Bears, but Danielle Hunter looked good last week, so that's a good step too.
Yeah. All right, what's your score prediction?
We win the coin toss. Do we want the ball or are we deferring?
I think you want the ball right away.
I agree. I think we take it. Let's go.
It's like that first game against the Packers. Win the coin toss, get the ball, go down, score, and that place is buzzing.
Yep.
I kind of like deferring.
That's the worst thing. That's like the normal thing, but like
it sucks when you get the ball and then you just go 3 and out, and you're like, all right, well now they get the ball at half, and so I don't know. I like getting the ball at the half.
Well, but you got to be confident. This is a playoff game. Like you got to be blazing.
I think KLC has been hiding a little bit of some stuff too. I think he
what's there to hide?
Just some schemes to get JJ open a little bit, maybe.
Oh yeah,
I think you haven't seen a ton of trick plays by KLC, and he's an offensive guy, and they like to throw some trick plays in there. But what's the point of a trick play when you've already locked up your division win?
Yeah.
What do you think he?
I don't know. Getting the 2 seed. What do you mean?
Yeah, they could have done that, but
gosh, it would have been nice. We would have been playing the Seahawks.
Oh,
Yeah, but looking back, you got to think you're playing the Packers.
I never thought about that until now.
You
That
you would think
sucks.
that you'd be playing the Packers, and I would not want to play. I'd much rather play the Giants over the Packers.
No,
And that
I
was kind of the
agree.
situation.
But it's all about the second round here. It's all about the second round.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to come here, I actually think we'd give not the Giants, that's San Francisco Giants,
Niners,
the Niners. I think we'd give them a run for their money. Actually, I think it would be a game.
The national media, and just everyone is going to be on the Giants in this game. This is like the one game where it's like we're picking the underdog, and the underdog's the Giants.
That's why I'm sort of confident.
Favorites, which makes
I'm
me
honestly not concerned.
Which makes me more confident in the Vikings because the national media is normally dum-dums.
What Vegas has been fairly right on the Vikings this year. Yeah. When there's been plenty of games where the Vikings were at home and they were like underdogs.
You could argue that they've been 100% with the Vikings this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And now they have the Vikings as favorites, and people are all like,
what are they?
The underdog?
3. And the line makes sense because they don't blow teams out. They win close games.
Yeah. All right. What's your score prediction?
Jack?
I'll go 24-13.
Ooh, I was going to go
hate it because of our defense, but no, I'll go 24-13.
I was going to go 24. I guess I was going to change. I got to change now because that was going to be the exact thing. But I'll go 24-21.
I'm going to go.
I'll change mine. I'll go 24-17. Sorry, 24-17.
34-30.
Okay.
A lot of points.
And the cover too.
Yeah, a lot of points.
All right, let's talk about the last game, and then we'll talk about the Twins. Or actually, there's 2 more games, but this Ravens-Bengals game, I mean, it's guaranteed.
It's another. It's kind of like the Bills. It's just kind of stupid. Like, ugh.
Well, no Lamar. Like,
yeah.
What's his contract situation? I mean, the offseason is like, well, he didn't.
I wouldn't pay him
7 weeks of the season.
I wouldn't pay him.
I would.
He may they need to pay him. He's not going to get that Deshaun Watson, Kyler money because those 2 contracts are catastrophes. Right?
Well, the problem is he bet on himself. He did the whole bet on yourself thing, and he's barely played this year.
But they offered 200. Offered a ton of money before the season, and he denied it.
Yeah, they offered $200 million before the season, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Does he not want to be there?
I would not pay him.
No, he does. It's just that Kyler and Deshaun's deal is both $250. So it's like, well, if they're getting $250. I should be getting $250, which is fair, but like, it's just not how it's going to work because the contracts are so bad. And it's like, well, if you can't even stay healthy, what's the point of getting you that much money?
Yeah, and you're not going to play in the playoff game? No
way. And Tyler Huntley didn't even practice today. Well, he practiced, but he didn't throw. So like, where does
Anthony Brown
leave the Ravens?
Anthony Brown, former Oregon quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think Harbaugh has that much up his.
Honestly, whoever plays in this game for the Ravens, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep it close.
Yeah, they can keep it close. The thing is that the Bengals have some offensive line issues. That La'el Collins is out for the year, and I forgot the name of the other guy that went out, but another guy in the offensive line is banged up. He might be back. But if they're not back and Joe Burrow gets pressured, that's where the Bengals start to be a little shaky. But they're going to have no issues winning this game. It's almost like a practice week until Buffalo.
All right.
Jack.
He said he just texted his computer died, so he'll be back in 2 minutes. Let's talk about the Cowboys and Bucs game. This game is another game where a lot of people are on the underdog. I tweeted a couple of weeks ago that the Cowboys are absolute frauds and that they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. But now I'm a little skeptical on that because I feel like everybody's on the Bucs with Tom Brady at home. So now I feel like the Cowboys are just going to win.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting matchups is Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Are they going to pee down their leg again? Or are they going to actually pull out a first-round win? It is hilarious to watch them blow these games. Like last year, that QB run with like 13 seconds left or something, and not even getting a field goal playoff. But I don't really know what to think about this game. I don't really have a pick yet. If I had to make gun to my head, I would say Cowboys. But like I've told myself all year that the Buccaneers suck. But if you watch the Cowboys play football the last few weeks, they suck too.
I know. I don't think either of these teams are very good.
Mm-mm.
Borst, do you have any thoughts
on the Bucs Cowboys game?
Yeah, I think it's the most humorous game of the week for sure.
That is a good point.
I don't know. I kind of think the Bucs might win, but
We were just talking about it. I think everybody's on the Bucs, and therefore I'm thinking the Cowboys are going to win, even though I think the Cowboys are absolute frauds.
I'm looking forward to see Mike McCarthy on the sidelines, like sweating.
He always has his. He's always got his play sheet like this going.
Yeah, and Jerry Jones just in like his luxury box, like just making high fives with his like
Stephen Jones.
Kids. Yeah,
like Dak Prescott is absolutely the most overrated quarterback.
Yeah. Jerry Jones is also like 1 for 5 on high fives per game. I think he just misses every single one.
Dak Prescott has always had an elite offensive line. He's always had like 3 solid weapons, always a solid running game.
He's a worse version of Kirk Cousins.
And they never go anywhere.
He's a worse version of Kirk Cousins. Like he can't move now either after he like broke his ankle last year.
Kirk is an incredible quarterback.
And they might have the second best defense in the league, in my opinion. And I still think they're frauds. And that's all that needs to be said about them.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Any closing thoughts on the NFL? What's your like sleeper or overrated team?
I think it's the Bills.
Go first with sleeper. Okay. Sleeper.
Oh, sleeper. I think it's us. Sorry, I think it's us. Just because everyone hates us, and I just kind of think it's a team of destiny, and I think something special could happen. And fraud alert, I think it's the Bills. I think they're so overrated. The Patriots, if not for 2 kick return touchdowns, they would have won that game. And they probably would have lost that Bengals game too if it didn't get canceled.
I completely agree. I think the Bills are completely overrated. I think their defense is completely overrated. The last like a few games, teams have gone up and down the field on them. If the Bills had, or if the Dolphins had Tua playing, I wouldn't be scared to think the Dolphins would win that game. Especially with the way Raheem Mostert's running. Teams are running all over, not just passing, but running all over the Bills defense right now.
Can I give you one more sleeper?
Sure.
The Chargers.
Hey, you're stepping on my sleeper. That's my sleeper pick. All right, well, we'll talk about it for a second. I just think that the Chargers are the definition of a sleeper because I mean, like people like love Herbert and like he gets all that social media hype. Emmanuel Acho shout out, but like everyone really is talking about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the AFC and Joe Burrow, and they're almost forgetting about Herbert. It's more a Staley situation if he's going to mess it up for him. But the Chargers do have the talent, at least on the offense side of the ball, and they can get some pass rush home on the defensive side of the ball as well. So that's what you need in the playoffs is that pressure with 4, and the Chargers can get that.
Justin Herbert is just a slightly worse quarterback in my mind than Josh Allen. Josh Allen, what makes him worse than Herbert is he makes stupid decisions all the time. But what makes him just slightly better is he can run over people way more than Justin Herbert.
Well, Burrow,
I do think they're similar quarterbacks.
Herbert has a much better arm, though.
And
Josh Allen's got a good arm.
I don't know. Herbert
my overrated team,
other than Mahomes.
My overrated team is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nick Sirianni, not a fan.
I mean, like he's fine, and like I like Hurts a lot as a guy and as a quarterback, and I like their offensive line. But like, they've had kind of an injury bug the last few weeks, and like they've been slipping in some games, and no one's really talking about it as much.
They are the classic. It was the Steelers a few years ago.
Yeah, peaked too early.
Yep, they might have peaked too early.
Well, that might have been us too.
I think they peak. I think that they peaked too early, and I would bet a lot of money that they don't make it to the Super Bowl.
The difference between us and the Eagles in terms of peaking too early is nobody ever thought the Vikings were good. People thought the Eagles were unstoppable.
People were talking about the Eagles going undefeated in week 7, week 8.
That's true.
And now their momentum is totally dropped off. And I think the Hurts injury caused a lot of that.
They have injuries on the defensive side of the ball as well.
No, I know. And I'm not saying Hurts' injury is going to really affect them in the playoffs, but just in terms of momentum, they probably wouldn't have lost those 2 games in a row, which killed all their momentum.
Yep.
I think the winner of that Chargers-Jags game, both of those teams could be sleepers.
Yep.
Yeah, but I just don't see it with the Jags.
Do you see them going into Arrowhead? The problem is they have to go into Arrowhead the next week.
Yeah, that could be tough.
And the Chargers-Chiefs could be a legit game. It could.
That would be an entertaining game.
But
that's what I'm rooting for, because I think the Chargers have a better chance of beating the Chiefs than the Jags do.
We could end up looking at a Chargers Bengals AFC Championship game. I don't think it's going to happen.
So second round is most likely to be Bills, Bengals, and Chargers, Chiefs. If Chargers win,
if all the favorites win, then that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
which is a very exciting.
No, well, hold on. Second round. The Bengals will beat the Bills in 2 weeks, and the NFC Championship or AFC.
We'll record that and see what happens, because I strongly disagree, but
I think the Chiefs are easily the best team in the league.
Yeah, they're going to win.
I wouldn't say easily, but they're the best team in the league.
They're going to win.
They are my favorite, and it's not really a question.
They have the worst red zone defense in the league, which could become an issue. And the
Vikings had the worst, and then they went from worst to very good very quickly. Mm-hmm. So maybe they can be good. All right, that's the NFL. Maybe next week we'll be back to recap this week's games, because there's 6 of them, a lot of games. But the Twins made some headlines yesterday. And it's been about a month saga with Carlos Correa. He initially opted out of the contract with the Twins, unsurprisingly. Twins still had some hope. He ends up signing with the San Francisco Giants, fails the physical. Then the Mets swoop in. He fails their physical. And then 2 nights ago, I believe it was, Dan Hayes and Ken Rosenthal write the article that the Twins have increased chances or whatever of signing Carlos Correa. Yesterday morning, Carlos Correa signs with the Twins. Of course, I just knew the physical was going to be passed in an hour, because I just pictured that happening.
I think they already kind of had a physical, they knew the details of the physical before they agreed to the deal too.
Yeah, but even if there is even if they see the same thing that the Mets see or the Giants see, I wouldn't be surprised if the Twins just said, yeah, that's fine.
Something's not adding up here though. Steve Cohen, I still can't understand why that guy didn't care about this and was just whatever.
I heard the reason
that means it doesn't meet the eye. Something doesn't meet the eye. Regardless, super happy.
It wasn't guaranteed money for him on the Mets anymore, I think, was the issue. I think he would have to take a physical every year or something, and if he had
that was a rumor.
No,
if he got hurt
every year,
which is fair. That
I think the Mets thing.
Right. Well, what if he hurt somewhere else?
I heard that the Mets the reason that Borst and Carlos didn't want to go to the Mets at the end was because they only offered 4 years of guaranteed money, and they didn't want only 4 years. The Twins got 6 years.
6 years is the perfect amount.
Perfect. I think the Twins got an absolute steal, because originally they were going to go 10 years, and that was a little scary. I mean, hell, other teams are going, 12, 13 years?
Yeah,
I never like signing guys that much.
Maybe some parallels to some other sports, remember when the Wild signed Parisi and Suter to those deals?
It never ends up well at the end.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, we're going to win multiple Stanley Cups, and we actually bottom out. And now
you're banking on the first few years to go extremely well. It's the same with Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer was making a crap ton of money at the end of his career, and he was not providing nearly what he did at the beginning of his contract.
Still wasn't. It wasn't that big of a contract.
I know. I'm just saying, in terms of the Twins, that was a big contract.
But also, I think Correa's just going to bring people to the state, bring people to the ballpark, get more revenue, and maybe even because the Twins had some waning attendance.
Oh God, and it was going to be worse this year.
It was going to be worse this year, and now Correa saved that.
Yeah.
And the lineup is looking good. I saw a picture of the mock lineup today, and it's actually looking pretty decent.
I can't wait.
There's nothing like the good old mock lineup in the offseason.
Oh yeah.
Well, Kepler's gone.
It always looks so good. But this is not the beginning of the end. I think there's going to be another trade. I don't know I think Kepler might be traded.
Do you think Trevor Bauer is going to be a future Twin?
No.
There's some rumblings in that.
Dan Hayes tweeted about an hour and a half ago that the Twins are not interested in Trevor Bauer.
That's probably, he's good, but it's probably not worth the headache.
Correct. But yeah, I think they need one more starting pitcher. Whether you like it or not, their bullpen is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Besides Emilio Pagan.
I can't believe he's going to be back, actually. That is shocking to me.
He was so bad.
It's every single game. All right. I hope we have a 5-run lead because we're giving up at least 2 or 3 here.
I've never seen anything like it.
I tried to back him for the first 2 months because I saw.
I mean, he's got good stuff. He's got good stuff.
I wanted to strangle you over text message.
The problem is the other team can hit that good stuff.
The
problem is he would start. He'd start every inning with 3 walks. It was a guaranteed 2 or 3 walks, and then he's just
the best would be the press conference with Rocco afterwards. I mean, what's going on with the gun lately? I think the thing is he's just got really good stuff. It just ends up 50 feet over the fence half the time.
Yeah, but that's all right. But is maybe like a little return for Kenta coming off.
If they were to trade a starting pitcher for anything in return, it would have to be Sonny Gray. Even though I really like Sonny Gray, because they're not going to get anything for Tyler Mahle, and they're not going to get anything for Kenta Maeda. You know who I wouldn't hate trading, which would be...
I'm going to guess Joe Ryan.
Yeah, Joe Ryan's overrated as hell. He has 1 pitch. It's the fastball, and whenever he faced a solid team last year, they mashed it. Joe Ryan's overrated.
What do we do with Royce Lewis? What's the plan with
Third base.
Correa's back.
Third base, and I can't wait to see it.
Miranda? But that's Miranda's position.
No, he's a DH.
Miranda at first, maybe?
First or DH. Royce Lewis is going to
Are we just putting Arise at DH then, or is Arise?
They might trade Arise.
I
wouldn't hate it.
I'm kind of pissed.
I really like Arise, but he is only a 2-tool player, and he's probably worth a lot.
Oh, I guess if they can get like a very, very good starting pitcher, I'd be fine with it. But anything short of that would be
Miranda. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Miranda can't play third base.
So what's he going to play?
Put him there.
First or nothing?
First or DH.
The thing with the baseball is going into the season, you're always like, oh, where's this guy going to slide in? Well, there's injuries every damn week.
Yeah.
And he'll find a way. Like Marwin Gonzalez a couple years ago, it's like, where's this guy going to play? He ends up playing every damn day because he just finds a place to play. And Royce Lewis can play in the outfield, and then he can play in the infield.
Are we excited about Joey Gallo at all?
Valuable. He needs to be at third base. Third base. That's the only place.
Joey Gallo is the classic Twins signing. Buy low,
like kind of over the hill guy. Like
it's the Gary Sanchez of last year. Buy low.
Gary was good last year.
Yeah,
Gary was not great.
He was good.
He was better defensively than he had been, but he didn't hit well. I mean, he had a low, maybe 200 batting average.
Gary was not the reason that the Twins missed the playoffs last year. Let's just say
absolutely not. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't hate the Joey Gallo. He is very good in the field, which I didn't know.
Over under Byron Buxton games played. What's the line? 100?
Oh, 115.
If Vegas were to set it, I would say it's right around 100.
Yeah, that's what
I'd go over.
I think
I hope over.
If he's just
I hope so. He has so many damn fluke injuries. What did he get hurt for last year?
Wasn't it just like sliding into a bait? Like was it that?
No, it was in Boston. I remember that. He slid into second base.
Yeah.
Well, either way, the Twins are going to be better with Carlos Correa, and it's cool that they have 2 franchise guys that are going to be here for a very long time.
2028
and Correa, and some very good young pieces.
What's also fantastic is that I don't have to stop wearing my Carlos Correa Twins jersey. That would have been a catastrophe of a purchase
for you
1 year.
So they have. I mean, they have just real quick. They have a lot of young guys: Miranda, Royce Lewis, Larnach, Kirilov. Let's look at this roster real quick.
I mean, if you want pitching, Joe Ryan's young. If you consider
Borsty's favorite, Nick Gordon.
Yeah,
Gordon's great.
Yeah, the player. I mean, what are your
thoughts on Jorge Polanco?
Good.
I like him.
Nothing wrong with him. Good.
Nothing wrong with him. Like
good second baseman, good contract.
I agree.
He throws like underhanded for some reason, but that's all right.
No, there's nothing wrong with Polanco.
No,
nothing.
I'm fine with Polanco.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we hit on everything. We got 40 minutes in here, so this was a good episode. Talked football and baseball, and the Wolves start in about 37 minutes. Hopefully they can win 5 in a row.
Can we touch on them for a second?
I'm getting off if they're touching on them.
Yeah, no, we don't have to. Borsty, there's nothing to say. They play the Pistons. If they don't win this game, we got real issues because we lost to the Pistons a couple weeks ago. All right. Thank you for listening. Borsty, thank you. Lewis, thank you. Maybe we'll do this again next week, talk about the football games.
But everybody go like and subscribe. Other than that, we gone.